I'd like to start off with defining what consistency actually is. To be consistent means to be dedicated and focused on a goal and to remain committed to a task or a habit for a long time. But the biggest problem with that, the biggest problem with consistency, is that you're not gonna know whether you're actually consistent until months or even years down the line. And that's the most difficult part, because doing something for 1 week or even for 1 month out of motivation or even discipline, which I talked about in a previous video, if you haven't watched it, go and watch it. Doing something for once or even sticking to something for less than 6 months is nothing special. Like, everyone could go to the gym for a couple of months. That's exactly what most people do. But sticking to something for 6 months requires an insane level of grip. The biggest problem why most people fall off is because they choose intensity over consistency. There's this quote, I don't remember who said it, but they went like this: in short term, your success depends on your intensity, but in long term, your success depends on your consistency. And the problem is that our own brain kind of fools us into believing that the more intense we are, the more work we are getting done, which often leads a lot of people to things like burnout, which is why they stop. So if you're someone who's chronically inconsistent right now, I want you to watch this video until the end, because the method to building unshakable consistency that I'm going to share might be the best thing that you've learned about consistency so far. But before we get into it, my name is Nazar and I help students and young entrepreneurs build simple but effective consistency systems and improve performance. So if you want to get insanely good at those things, make sure to subscribe to my free email newsletter. Link is in the description. Let's begin. From my own experience, and that is exactly how I've been able to stick to a bunch of good habits for over 2 years, a single best way to building consistency in any area that you want essentially is something that I call trigger stacking. Now I want you to pay attention to this, because this is very important if you actually want to be consistent. If you actually take the time and implement all of the things that I'm going to talk about, there's a very small chance that you're not going to become consistent, I promise you. Alright, so trigger stacking is something that triggers the weak part of your mind. It helps you execute effortlessly and essentially do the thing that you want to do on autopilot without even putting much effort into starting. It is the practice of linking multiple small habits together by using one action as a cue for the next. So I want you to picture dominoes, right? Instead of relying on motivation or even discipline every single time, you kind of start the domino effect. And if, for example, you need to get to the gym and hit your leg day when you're tired, imagine there are 10 dominoes and leg day is kind of at the end. And to hit leg day, you don't have to necessarily think about, okay, I need to go and hit leg day. You can just push one domino and it's going to fall and trigger all of the next dominoes to fall as well. And then by doing that, you're also going to fold that domino with leg day. Now, the reason why this is so cool and why this works is because your brain is obsessed with patterns. Like, think about it. You, even if you don't like the routine, which I think most people do like routines, but if you don't like a routine, you probably have some sort of routine. You probably wake up at around the same time if you go to school or if you go to work. You probably go to your bathroom, brush your teeth, then go and get dressed. And you kind of don't even have to think about it, right? Like, you just wake up, and after you woke up, you have automatically this response where your body kind of takes you to the bathroom, because that's just where you go all the time. The same can work with all the difficult things that you need to do in the day. When your brain sees a familiar cue, it runs a script, and by sticking habits together in the same sequence, you make your system frictionless. Say you want to be consistent with hitting the gym. The reason you're not consistent with it already is because you're associated with discomfort and perhaps pain. You've either had some sort of negative experience with it yourself, or you've heard other people talk about the gym and exercising in the negative way or in the way that makes you feel uncomfortable. If you want to be consistent with, for example, posting content on social media, you would have to do it over and over and over again, perhaps every single day. But the problem is that your brain has a friction before you execute it every single time. You have to consciously think about it and go and sit and prepare the space and do all of those things, do this ritual in order for you to start posting something, which, as you could probably understand, can easily ruin your consistency if just for one day you're not going to be able to consciously think about it and perform that ritual for whatever reason. And the reason you have that friction is because your brain in some way has negative association with doing that thing, and you need to fix that. You might associate something like studying with boredom or stress, or something like work with an angry boss or sleep deprivation. But it can be otherwise. We know that learning and studying can be fun. We know that work can be fulfilling and you can actually enjoy something that you do. And the same can be applied to virtually anything you can think of. The only two differences are the way you see it and your automatic response, your reaction essentially. You can replace the associations. Not remove, but replace. You can train your brain to love the work before it starts. You can make your mind light up before the work begins. And the way I like to do it is creating an automatic pre-game ritual. not just a routine, but a ritual. There's a really cool story that I learned from Chris Williamson, where he talked about the 3 tennis legends, when one of them was warming up in this kind of chill way, smiling to people, talking to people, just not worrying about anything. The second one was in this David Goggins aggressive mode, warming up, sweating before the match. And the third one was this completely rational, like calculated guy just standing there, taking deep breath and kind of preparing mentally for the match. But the point is, you can do the same. You can create your own pre-game ritual routine, and you probably should if you want to be consistent with something. It has to be yours. It has to be original. You can, of course, start by copying someone else, trying that routine, and then adapting all of those like best parts of each routine to yourself, but never relying on someone else's routine, because once again, everything is individual. You have different biology, different psychology, different habits, different life situation, different desires, goals, and all the rest of it, which by the way is something we're going to discuss in the next video. So make sure to subscribe to this channel and to my mail newsletter. If you want to read it already by the time this video is posted, the newsletter is also out there, so you can go and check it out right now. And to summarize all of this in a couple of words, here's how I see the 2 steps to developing your own system. You try as many things as you can. You learn and drown in information about the thing you want to get better at. You take a couple of things from each lesson or perspective you've learned, and you try to build your own systems with it. Alright, so let's get back into trigger stacking. Here are a couple of examples that you can implement in your life that can work pretty well if you're trying to stack triggers and build your ultimate productivity/consistency pre-game ritual or a routine. Drink the same coffee, eat the same meal, play the same song, something simple but specific. And here's the key: only do it before one activity. Only then. Your brain starts to associate the ritual with focus, effort, and momentum. Over time, just starting the ritual flips the switch. This is literally a cheat code, and if you don't believe me, just go and test it yourself for a couple of weeks or months. Come back into this video, you can copy the link and save it into your notes, and come back to this video in a few months and write me a comment. Because I promise you, if you take everything you've learned in this video and you implement it, it's going to entirely change your life. To give an example, here's what it looks like for me. Wake up, take a cold shower, read, write, eat, go to the gym. I don't even have to think about it. Just the fact that I wake up and go to bathroom, as we discussed at the start of the video, my brain pushes the first domino. And then after each thing performed, I just move on to the next without even thinking about it. This feels amazing. This is literally a flow state for free. But of course, I don't want you to have unrealistic expectations. You're not going to be able to do it perfectly every single time. But still, if you manage to put in the work at least on 30 or even 20% out of your max, and you prioritize consistency over intensity using all of those rituals and trigger stacking, you will beat 99% of people, because you're just simply going to be able to stick to it for long term, while most of people will just burn out in some time. I remember the time when I was building consistency for the gym, when I needed something that would help me go to the gym every single day. Like, I wasn't consciously looking for the thing, right? But I knew that something like that would have to exist in my life in order for me to stay consistent. I used to drink Monster every single time before my workout. It triggered my brain like this. It just turned it on, and even if I was tired, it wasn't the caffeine effect, because it literally happens immediately. And the moment I had it in my mouth, I was like, okay, I'm ready to crush this workout. This is really cool, and I see a lot of people doing some kind of ritual before the gym as well. So for example, one of the biggest guys in my gym usually smokes the cigarette and drinks a coffee before the gym, which I don't recommend, of course, but this is just an example of how another person developed this kind of habit, probably unconsciously, but that's something that helps him perform better, and I'm pretty sure to stay consistent too. But basically, what happened is that I once again replaced an energy drink domino with another domino, which is for me eating or writing, for example. And then, as I said, I had the kind of routine which triggers one domino and everything falls after it, and then I just go to the gym because that's just what I do. And the best part is, you can do exactly the same, but beware of a common mistake. Do not try to stack too many things too fast. It can absolutely ruin you. That was one of my biggest mistakes. Some of the lessons cost me up to $5,000 of lost money and 6+ months of wasted time. Be smart and be patient. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this video until the end. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to this channel. I would love to see you in my email newsletter. I hope you found this video valuable. This is the first time I'm holding mic in my left hand. But anyways, check all the links in the description. Have an amazing day. Bye.